Welcome to the Nagual Zone. I'm Anaam. Today, a very, very practical topic. It doesn't get any more practical than this. And what we are to discuss today is whether the average man is having a relationship with each other. Not a good relationship with each other, bad relationship with each other. I'm actually talking about whether people are actually having a relationship with each other. Now, everyone, if you ask them that, they'll say, no, they're not, because people are blinded by their self-importance and egos get in the way and communication breakdown. And of course, no one is having a relationship with each other. Oh, fantastic. Write a book about it and get rich with it. Good on you. But this is not that topic. This is not that discussion. This is the Toltec viewpoint on human interaction, of which you are a part. You're not apart from it, you are a part of it. From the moment you were born, you have been interacting with human beings. Unless you happen to be watching this video from your cave, where you were born and you will die and you've always lived there. That's not really quite possible. So we'll just assume that you've been having interactions and relationships with your fellow human beings since the day you were born and since the day you will die. The only problem is no one taught you how it works. No one taught you how it works. No one taught you how money works, which is a huge part of living in this world. No one taught you how relationships work, which is another huge, almost the only thing, right? So whilst you are learning cos theta plus sine theta equals 55 degrees of whatever lattice, just nonsense, junk, right? Life was passing you by whilst you were in the indoctrination institutes of the world, growing up in those indoctrination camps. Life was passing you by. There is a way to facilitate relationships with human beings that are useful to the warrior. It's a clear way. It has no confusion. Women are mysterious creatures. Not really. Not really. It has nothing to do with women being mysterious creatures or something is, and men are from Mars, women are from Venus. What kind of stupid title is that? No one is from anywhere else. Everyone is in this moment right here, right? Who's from Mars? Who's from Venus? What is this? Just forced assumptions, right? It is a subtle bit of marketing to sell a book. Great title in terms of selling. Great title. And it did sell. This book sold. This book was huge in its time. I don't know if you heard it. Men are from Mars. Women are from Venus. Why not men are from Pluto and women are from Jupiter? Who knows? None of this is going to help you. However, consider this. Everyone is not having a relationship with each other. Is not having a relationship with each other. What are they having a relationship with instead? I'll come to that in just 1 second, but before that, I want you to answer a question. Do you think you have a relationship with your family? What people actually are doing what is actually happening in reality, no matter what we all think in our heads about it or feel in our hearts, what's actually happening in reality is people are having an intense and all-consuming relationship with their projection of you. People are having an intense and all-consuming relationship with their projection of you. Not with you, with their projection of you. This is why it is possible to be alone in a party of friends. You're at a party and you're feeling alone. Because everyone's feeling like that. Some are drinking their loneliness away. Others are dancing in the party, their loneliness away. Whatever is going on. But everyone, because what's actually happening in reality is no one is able to even consider each other properly. What's actually happening is everyone is having an intense and all-consuming relationship with their projections of each other. Now, does it make sense when I say that warriors contend that people don't have a relationship with anyone? The average man cannot have a relationship with anyone except their own projections. So here's the first thing to consider. This is a very, very important point. Your parents should have taught you this, but your parents did not know, neither did their parents. No one knows this. No one is noticing reality as it is unfolding. But this is the reality that's unfolding. Hence, no one feels heard. No one feels noticed. No one feels seen. You know, all that seen man business. No, what is that nonsense? No one, you're not seeing me. You're seeing your own seen man projection. So, this is the first thing to be aware of. You have problems in your relationships. Mommy doesn't acknowledge me. Daddy doesn't love me. He never praised me. Mommy never encouraged me. Husband is idiotic. Wife is nagging. Children are foolish. Whatever, or all of this. Some people have all of this. Most people have all of this. Right? Mommy is overbearing. If you can at that point remember really this education, that person is not noticing you as in you who you know as you. They're not noticing that. They're not able to. It is like a blind and deaf person. They're not able to do it. They're not able to hear you. They're not able to see you. They are only able to see and hear their projection of you. So whatever you're going to speak to that person, they're hearing their projection of it, their interpretation of it. It is autopilot. It is too quick for them to catch it. And you're doing the same. It is happening at light speed. And real life is very fast. Only warriors have the awareness and the reflexes to negotiate the incredible speed of human interaction with noticing power and awareness and impeccable speech, impeccable communication. The awareness has to be very fast, very developed. The reflexes have to be hyper instinct. No gap, because it's too fast. People are interpreting what you're saying, what you're wearing, how you're standing. The whole thing, half of the thing is, no one is aware of it. It's subliminal. It's subconscious. I don't like him. Why? Oh, I don't know. I just got this feeling. It's all, it's not that that person doesn't like him. It's not him. They didn't even notice him. They are having an all-consuming relationship with their projection of him, which they don't like. Now you can imagine how this phenomenon that's going on in the world it has only one outcome: toxic relationships eventually. If not sooner, then definitely later. Because the people are not noticing each other. They're not in actual communication with the other person. They are busy talking to their projection. And what is that projection composed of? Is it you? Can you guess what it is? And when I say it, you'll say, yeah, obviously, that's true. That projection is a symptom of the patterns that are running that person's life. The subconscious patterns that are running that person's life. So that person is really having a relationship with their own patterns of perception. You are not in the picture. No matter how much you would like to be. Mommy never praises me, daddy never loves me. They can't. They can't do it. Neither can you. You're locked in this projection of them, and they're locked in their projection of you. All of you are having a relationship with your own patterns of perception. And in a moment, I'll give you an amazing key to navigate this so beautifully. And once you get efficient at that navigation, you will have a blast with other humans. You really will genuinely enjoy interacting with other humans, whereas before it may have been a boring or whatever, right? I'm an introvert. Which creature in nature have you witnessed claiming that they're an introvert? What? Only humans come up with this idiotic stuff because of ignorance. No one teaches us this stuff, right? No one taught you this till you watched this video this far. No one taught you this. This is basic education in human interaction. So practice this from now on. Anytime you are with another human being having an interaction, consciously and deliberately try and remember, hey, what's really happening right now is I'm having a relationship with my projections born out of my patterns, and this person happens to be a mascot, a symbol of that in this moment, and they're doing the same. That alone is a great level of awareness to be with in your interactions. Whether it's with children, it's easier because the patterns haven't formed yet. The patterns are very malleable, and those children are simply imitating the authority figures in their lives, parents or whoever it is. So with children, it is a lot less, it's much more diminished, this phenomenon. But by the time you're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, right, depending on the individual, this is firmly in place. This communication of ignorance is firmly in place. Teenagers practice this relentlessly and master it. By the time you're 20 years old, in order to navigate this twisted world, they have to master this non-communication. So first off, bring awareness into every interaction. What is actually happening? Let me be aware of the reality here. And don't exclude yourself. You're very much a member of that club. It takes a lot of self-development. Minimum 10, 15, 20 years of serious self-development of awareness to get to a level where your reflexes are fast enough to navigate the speed at which human interaction flows. You're on a date, Tinder, whatever, beautiful lady. First of all, better have checked if it's a lady or not. That's just the way I rock. I love nature. We'll leave it at that. And then you're thinking, oh, she's so amazing, intelligent, beautiful, funny, whatever your patterns of perception are feeding you. Got nothing to do with her. Live with her for 3 months and the real stuff starts coming out on both sides. It takes 3 months. For 3 months, 3 months is the usual stamina of people to remain on their best behavior with each other. After 3 months, it starts to fall apart. And you can verify this. You can verify this. I've verified this multiple times. Right? At that moment in that date, you're starting to get drunk with the other person. You're not getting, that person is just a static symbol. It's a cartoon figure. What you're actually getting drunk on is your projections of this person. And you're either liking it or disliking it or getting bored or interested or whatever. And that has to do with the patterns, the particular patterns of your mating instinct. Many women, it's a common thing for women to be in a relationship with men who are much inferior than them. Much, in every possible way. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Inferior to them in every possible way. For men, it is extremely common to want the very woman who is not interested in them. It's a common, maybe it's changed now because everyone is like, people are like frogs, aren't they? Just change. So I don't know about now. The second thing you can do there now you're aware, oh wait, the game is very different than what I'm being, the feedback loop in my head. The game is very different. The reality game right here that's happening is extremely different. At your family dinner table, and you can remember this, okay, wait, the real what's going on is very different right now. That allows you to sit back. You're not jumping out of your skin and hooking on to the other person with your spirit, so quickly. It allows you to sit back. Oh, I know the game. I can relax. Sit back. And from here on, what does one do? How do you continue? Once you know the game, what do you do? Warriors found that from that point on, the best thing one can do, you cannot break that bubble of relationship with their projections. You cannot break it. You just can't do it. You can try, all you'll end up is screaming in their face, notice me, I exist. That's all you'll end up doing, and they will still be confused. What's wrong with this guy, man? What's wrong with you? Why are you acting so weird? The best thing you can do at that point is deliberately become curious and interested in that person's relationship with their projection of you. Do you see how? Teach this stuff to children. You'll have an amazing world in one generation. From this point on, don't just jump to this stage 2. First, you must deliberately practice remembering, recognizing what's happening, what's really happening. And then you will feel a certain feeling of stepping back from the whole thing. Not becoming some kind of quiet little idiot, but just stepping back in your spirit. Okay. Let me now become interested and curious about this person's projections of me. How does one become interested and curious? What do you do when you're interested in something? When you're curious about something, what happens? Do you start blabbing your opinions? Do you start blabbing, vomiting upon the other, your viewpoints of the world and the philosophies and the big rabbit holes that you've gone down? The transhumanist agenda. Do you start blah, blah? When we are curious and interested in something, what do? We start asking questions. So from that point on, your questions have to be about that other person's projection of you. So what you don't do is this: what do you think of your projection of me? That is completely stupid, right? Simply, I won't tell you what to do, and I won't give you any examples. I want you to figure this out by trying this and failing and making errors and appearing weird and stupid to other people. But I want you to, eventually you'll get it. You'll start getting the knack of, okay, I understand this person having an intense and self-consuming relationship with their projections of me right now. Okay. That allows me to step back from the whole thing and start becoming interested and curious about their all-consuming relationship with their patterns and projections about me. What kind of questions would I ask at that point? So you figure it out. Figure it out. I'll leave you with a real life example of what I'm talking about. I was at lunch just today in our favorite restaurant with some friends, and as is the norm, or yawn, the conversation turned to sex. Right, okay, now we're going to talk about fucking sex. And the women are going on, banging on about, and then at one point, because these are spiritual friends, so, then everyone started to the conversation became a bit more honest due to a few questions that were asked. Let's just put it that way. And one of the ladies who has a big personal history of being a sort of tantra and interested and, in like the spiritual side of sex and the whole, they have a thing there. And they said, I want to say something honestly because and so yes, please share, blah, blah, blah. She said, well, when I opened the topic of sex, I was the only male there. I already knew what's coming here. I already knew because what I've been doing is during that conversation, observing each person having an all-consuming relationship with their projection about sex. So I'm noticing, this is their type of relationship. That woman's type of relationship, that's how they are relating So I know the flavors. I already know what she's going to say. She says, well, when I started, and immediately I felt Anaam become uncomfortable. with the topic. Then she, to her credit, corrected herself. She said, wait, I assumed Anaam had become uncomfortable with the topic. I said, thank you for rectifying that. That is much closer to the truth, according to me. At that point, the conversation was on solid ground, stable ground, because she was in her own way becoming aware that her projection was at play. She said, how do you feel? She asked me a question. How do you feel about it? I said, in this very moment, I feel no different. I feel exactly as present, alert, vibrant, alive, empty, as I was, if I compare my memory with the moment when you initiated the topic. At that point, I may have had a bit of an eye roll moment in my sort of, because of predictable. But apart from that, I did not feel uncomfortable. I did not feel anything, as I don't feel uncomfortable now. I feel exactly like myself, my real self, the self that was before I was born. And they are familiar with me and my weirdness, and they get me. That's why I hang out with them. She got it. She's like, okay, and understood that she was having a moment of intense relating with her projection, and through her question she was able to have an actual meeting. Not everyone will be that conscious in your life. You have to be that conscious. You have to deliver. That's why I'm saying step one is you must recognize you're projecting, and you're having a great, flavorful relationship with your projections. And you're convinced that they're true. And you will conjure up all manner of evidence to back it up. Fake evidence. Back it up with no basis. Soon as some questioning is happening, the whole thing will break down. And then you must experience that stepping back, that slight sort of, cool. And then you must switch your communicating into curious and interested questions about the nature of the all-consuming relationship that the other person or persons are having with their projections of either the topic or you or whatever. It's usually interrelated, right? I have so many real-life examples I could give you, but I'd like you to now go out and have an adventure with this and educate yourself and extricate yourself from the web of confusion that has till now been your experience of human relationships. On that note, let me know if you have any examples of similar, like I shared, or if you have overcome an instance where the communication was going to break down and you were able, through interested and curious questions, and lighthearted, keep it lighthearted, don't get serious, don't, just relax. You don't have to become some kind of foolish joker if the topic is, serious. Just, you'll get this with experience. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the content in this video. I shall see you next time. Walk in freedom. Farewell.